Handa ako 'no? Hmm. What? good day, everyone. We are live. Woohoo! Yay! Hold on a second, guys. Hello, everyone, and it's an awesome weekend. Pretty awesome right over here, but I wonder how everyone else is doing. How's everyone doing for their weekend so far? I hope everyone's enjoying. I hope everyone's doing well. No accidents, no problems whatsoever. I hope everyone's doing fine. Jennifer, good morning from USA. Hello, good morning. How's the weather over there? That was not a tall joke though, but honestly speaking, how is everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing fine. Like, I would love to see in the comment section right now on how everyone's doing. Currently, I do think we're like at around 6 viewers. So if we can definitely share our live stream to let everyone know that we're now live. Maybe we can let people join in on the fun. Jennifer said the weather is nice. That's good. Glad to hear that. Hi, Dylan. Hello. Vits. All right. Sorry, Vits. I forgot to say hello to you too. Sorry. Yeah, clear sunny skies from where I'm at. Awesome. Right now for me, it's dark. It's nighttime. It's pretty late. Actually, it's not late. It's just fine compared to how I normally stay up. You know. But yeah, I'm glad that at least for you guys it's doing well. What? It's the truth. It's really dark. It is dark in here. I can barely see the sky right now. I'm running in front of a window. And it's pretty dark. I think I did see like thunderclouds over yonder. And I'm not scared of thunder, or lightning. Well, I'm a bit scared of the lightning because it might hit an electric pole and something might happen, so I'm like, oh, let's not jinx that. I'm so sorry. Let's not jinx it. My goodness me. But are you guys excited? I'm excited because for today's stream, I'm actually looking forward to this because I've been struggling as an artist because I never could go beyond the thing that when you guys first start, you all know what I'm saying. That is such a struggle going from neck down when you draw. It's still a pain. Up until now, it's still a pain. But with the guidance of the person I'm gonna be talking to tonight, that you guys will know. Actually, the name is already right there, right? But still, it has been heavenly. It's been really interesting, you know. It's a lot easier. It's also a lot easier when you have someone to guide you. So yeah. Bit said it's 3 p.m. and I don't have to stay up till 2 a.m. to watch YouTube. Yeah, let's not stay up way too late to watch YouTube, but you know, sometimes we say that, but yet we do it. And yet we still do it. I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes end up staying up way too late by just re-watching a bunch of movies without even a purpose. Hello, Mystic Greninja. Hi. Sorry, can't be here. Oh, that's fine. It's okay. You don't have to force yourself if you can't. But thank you for dropping by. Crafted by Sophie. Hello. Hi. You know, I'm so not used to saying good morning, good evening. whenever I greet people. Because I don't know where you guys are from. But I would actually like to know where you guys are from. If you don't mind. Like for Jennifer, she's from USA. How about Bits? Where are you? And Sophie, if you don't mind me calling you Sophie, because crafted by Sophie, so Sophie. Are you the Sophie from House Moving Castle? How's Hal? How's Hal? Is he behaving himself? Well, the question here is, are you the book Sophie or are you the movie Sophie? There's a difference between the two guys. Bits is from South Africa. Ooh. My brain loaded for a second. South Africa. Like, I'm not saying where that is. I know where it is, but more like, are there places that I want to go? And yeah, actually there is. I'm not gonna say it where yet. I don't want to go on be here on live and then be wrong in my geography. So let's not do that, shall we? But yeah, how are the rest of the people? Did you guys share our live? Hope you guys did. Let everyone know. Let your friends know. Let your friends know that we're live so that people can keep coming in. I'm like just bopping to the music. Banan. Okay. So I would like to ask to anyone who would like to respond. When it comes to drawing or art, basically, who here struggles with inking? You know, like, you guys can just raise your hand or like leave me, like just say me in the chat section. Like when it comes to art, or when you're drawing an anime character, you're like so satisfied with just pencil, and then you realize you need to ink it, and it gets so scary. You know, it gets so scary because you don't want to mess it up, right? Hello, Sheepy. Good PM. Good evening. Sheepy, I love your name. I love your YouTube name. Sheepy. Or Sheep Pie. Shia Pie. Oh no, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Is it Sheepy? Shia Pie? I don't know. Jennifer said, I don't use dip pen. Oh. What do you say? What do you use then, Jennifer? If you don't use dip pen? Bit said, I'd say I'm decent. I just want to ask a few questions to improve. Ah, okay. Oh, my code team here said that it's Shishipe. Okay, Shishipe. So Bits, Shishi. Okay, thank you for telling me. Pie, Shishi Pie. Oh, Shishi Pie. Gotcha. I got it. Goodness gracious, with me with names, guys. I'm so sorry. Jennifer said I use regular pen. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Also, Bits, since you want to ask a couple of questions, we do have a Q&A portion at the end of our stream. So you don't so for anyone who does have a question, I would like to recommend or ask for everyone to leave those questions until the end of this, or until I have the Q&A, because it'll be a lot easier for us to address it, and so that I don't miss your question or forget about it, because your girl tends to be forgetful. Anyways, so some of you guys, so Jennifer said I use a regular pen. I see. Earl, hi Earl, said I'm bad at inking with pens. I always mess up my drawings. I know. The struggle is real. It's a mood. It's really a mood, honestly. I've been there. Hybrid said, just a normal pen. I barely ink my work, right? Yeah. I get it. Yeah. So tonight, we will get advice, actually. So tonight is special because we will get advice from a modern shonen anime artist, Steff Pastrano. Yeah, he's been using dip pens since 2019, and he's been mentoring for local, which is Philippines, and international students. So, like I said, later on we'll have a Q&A. Don't worry. So Steff will definitely try to answer your questions as best as he can. Don't worry about that. But tonight, we'll be talking about how Steff discovered dip pens, secrets to creating amazing line art, and of course, his advice to beginner anime artists struggling with dipping pens. I just said a different word for a second there. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oops. My mouse just loves to double skip this. My goodness. So stay until the end, like I said earlier, for the Q&A, and find out how you guys can also work with pro Japanese manga and anime artists. Isn't that cool? Like, you'd be able to learn with an actual mangaka. That's freaking cool. That is so freaking cool. So anyways, let's move on, and let me introduce to you, or more likely, let's begin with I wanted to say a word, I just forgot what it was, but I want to finally bring in. There you go. I want to finally bring in Steff to the mic. Is like saying to the platform, you could say. Oh, I almost forgot. Almost forgot to introduce myself. I'll be your host for tonight, guys. My name is Kay. So if you guys need to tell me something, just say, "Hey, Kay." Yeah, just say some. Just raise your hand if you need to. If you need me to address something. But yeah. So, are you guys ready? Hope you guys are. And if you are, please give me a ready in the chat if you guys are ready. Are you guys ready? Because I'm gonna bring Steff into the mic. We're gonna start this. I'm not gonna start until you guys say ready. Oh, Anne said ready. What about the others? I hope you guys are. Are you guys are? Yes, Jennifer. You said, "Hey, Kate." Yes. What is it, Jenny? Jennifer. Jenny from the block. Okay. Ready. Ready. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are. So, Steff, are you there? Hello.
Hello.
Ring ring. Hi, Steff. Good evening.
Hi, Kay.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So, other than what I have said earlier, would you kindly introduce yourselves to yourselves? Introduce yourself to our audience tonight.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Steff Pastrano, and also known as Baby 8 Steff from my social media platforms, and I'm one of the mentors of Learn to Draw Manga, and I'll be the one to teach the all related to line art and dip pens and manga pens. So,
Yeah. Honestly, starting following you stuff on on Facebook and on Instagram, I'm like, I keep scrolling. I was like, so I want to do the same. I want to do the same stuff because it's so cool. You know, when you see a lot of the things that he does, so you guys better follow him on Instagram. It's just mind blowing. You know. So let's start off with our first question, shall we? Okay. Now, how did you get into dip pens, and was it difficult to learn?
actually, I didn't really know that they are called dip pens. So when I first started drawing anime style, and I was only using fine liners at that time, and I just started my Instagram account. When then I stumbled on a video about materials used by Japanese mangakas, because there's a lot of video on YouTube regarding to that kind of video, and there I saw the there I saw the deep pen, and they did some demo. And I got really curious after watching that video that I decided to buy some on the next day. And I bought one with an ink. I did some quick tests on a paper, and it was very difficult. And I thought it was just like a multi-liner or a fine liner, but instead you need to practice how to hold the deep pen. It's
Oh
quite
yeah.
shocking for me. And how much pressure is used, and how thick the paper that you will be using, because it is sharp, right? So it needs like a uh medium thick kind of paper. So it needs something like that. Then it took me like 2 weeks of practice, and it wasn't a good experience actually, because I didn't include the ink quality and compatibility at that time. I didn't think about it. I just directly practiced with the ink, and I also struggled with my nibs because it drops after 1 week. Maybe because I didn't really know how to properly take care of them at that time, and I stopped using it actually after practicing for 2 weeks. But I think yes, after 2 weeks, I think I stopped using it. I
Mhm.
stopped using it for 1 month, then continue after um I got a lot of research related to deep pens. So I searched a lot on the internet how to use them. Then that's why on my second try I used high quality deep pens, and it went smoothly actually because I did some I watch so many videos regarding to depends how to use them. So it helps a lot, and by the second time when I practice or I get serious with it, then that's the time
Work.
that I stop using multi-liners. I just focus using the deep pen. Actually,
Um,
it will take at first it will it's difficult, but
mhm.
uh with consistent practice it will develop like a muscle memory, so it's going smoothly, especially if you're using a high grade or artist grade materials actually.
Yeah. It really just goes to practice, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So now my next question is, what did you use before depends? And um like you said, you just started it uh like before you completely started it, you keep switching, right?
Yeah.
So what in your full experience, what was uh like if you could look back at it at the time when you were switching between a different pen and a dip pen, what was a struggle? What's like your preference in that sense?
um
If you were to look at back then, not now, because I know now you like dip pens more, but like back then.
yes. Back then, I used random multiliner. I just don't want to name the brand, so I just used
Okay, yeah.
random multiliners. At that time, it ranges from 0.5 to 0.3 sizes,
Mhm.
and most of them usually bend after 2 weeks of using.
Oh my.
Yes, so uh after 2 weeks of using, especially the smallest one, the 0.3, it bends a lot
Mhm.
because most of my style are shonen, right? It needs a lot of line variation. So I don't like that kind of what do you call this? Kind of product. So for the deep pan, that's why the difference is I save a lot of money. I save a lot of money when I start using the deep pen, because I don't need to buy every month for the ink. For example, the
Yeah.
because for fine liners and multiliners, you use if you use the ink or if it's empty, you need to buy again. So that's not it's not like that when it comes to deep pens. So
Mhm.
um I'm still even using my ink from 2019 actually. My but I am still using the one that I bought from 2019, the ink.
Wow.
Yes. Because it only needs less ink when you use a dip pen for inking compared to fine liners and multiliners. And I don't have to worry about bending or rusting my nibs as long as I know how to properly take care of them. So this time around I know how to properly take care of them, so I don't need to worry about rusting, like bending
Mhm.
or something. So, uh, and the most important part is that it's more efficient. For me, it's more efficient compared to fine liners
Mhm.
and multiliners, especially when I want to ink a specific line. For example, I want to ink a thick line, then gradually shift to thin line or a line variation or something. Then I don't need to repeat that line just to create a thick line because all I need to do is adjust the pressure during ink stroke
Yeah.
to create the line thickness that I want. So that's what I love That's what I really love about um depends compared to multi-liner stuff.
Mhm. I do remember like in Bakuman, was it the anime? Or
Yes.
yeah, they
Mm-mm.
I saw their materials and they always use the dip, and at first I was like, what the heck is that material? Because it had the different handle, and I was like, what is that thing? And I didn't know it was a nib pen
Yeah.
until recently. So really, a lot of mangakas or manga artists really use dip pens a lot better because it's less of a hassle to switch, right?
Yes. It's much more convenient compared
Much more
to
convenient, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, one of the most common issues we hear from beginners is the struggle with control, right? Because you mentioned earlier, uh, from thick. If you want thick lines, you just need to add pressure, and if you want thinner lines, you just need to lessen the pressure. But how did you learn how to control the pressure on your depends? Was it like by yourself, or did you also learn from another mentor or something?
No, I learned it. I discovered it on my
On
own.
your own.
Yes, because I'm not I don't have the money to afford like to get a mentor to teach me. So I just did everything on my own. And
Mhm.
what I did was just practicing the pen like for 2 weeks. First was like I tested types of nibs because I bought 3 types of nibs at that time,
Mhm.
and I observed them how do they perform in different angles. And while doing that, I just imagined that I was holding a regular pen but has a pressure sensitivity function. So so that's
Mm.
usually how the pen works. So it's just like a regular multiliner but has a pressure sensitivity function. So I observe how thick and thin the lines on every pressure that I apply to my deep pens during ink strokes. I really observe, for example, I applied too much um, pressure, then I created a thick line. So, and I also recommend to use in order for you guys to improve your like how do you handle or how do you hold or grip your dip pen is I recommend to use a good pen holder that has a rubber thing near the tip. It usually helps a lot on how you hold and grip your deep pens during ink strokes. So I usually recommend like the Tachikawa. So the most of the modern pen holder right now does have a like a rubber thing near the tip um of the pen holder. So and also don't practice on inking a characters yet when you when you buy a um depends or
Mhm.
a pen holder. So start practicing with random strokes first in any angle and find the
Mm.
most comfortable angle by when doing ink strokes. So find the most comfortable angle by rotating the paper when inking curvy strokes or lines. So I highly recommend to like rotate your paper or tilt your paper until you can find the most comfortable angle when executing your next ink stroke or something. So it's something like
Mm.
mm-mm.
I see. I'm like mesmerized at the video right now because it's so interesting how like the strokes get onto the paper so beautifully. It's just so mesmerizing. And it really just goes to show how practice really works, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially for traditional, there's no undo
Yeah.
button for for traditional. So you need to be more
True.
precise. So it needs a lot of practice actually.
Yeah. Okay. So, next up is another common issue is the smudges. Ugh, I hate it when that happens.
Yes.
So, like, how can beginners avoid smudges? Like, how long do you wait for the ink to dry before coloring?
Actually, I've also experienced that even until now, especially if
Oh
I'm not,
yeah.
yes, especially if I'm not mindful enough during, or I am
Mhm.
distracted during inking.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of ways to avoid ink smudges. For me, the first one is using right amount of ink when dipping your dip pens to an ink bottle. Uh, if you're going to dip your uh nibs, so just dip your pens only up to the like a tiny hole, the center of the nib. So you can observe this on every manga pens. There's a tiny hole near the center part of the nib. So just dip
Mm.
your pen and your nib up to that part only, and don't dip your nib entirely that it almost reaching the nib socket. So there's a nib socket there. So don't dip your nibs entirely because it'll cause a lot of ink smudges everywhere from your hands to your
Mm.
paper to your fingers. So just don't uh dip too
Too
much your,
much.
yes. And next is start at the top left corner. So top left corner of your top left corner down to the bottom right part of your sketch when inking. So especially if you're right-handed, so start from the top left corner up to the um bottom right part of your sketch when inking, so that you can avoid touching the wet ink lines. Yes, and
Oh, okay. I
so there should
got
be like
it.
a pattern, like from left
Yeah.
to right, from left to right, from top left to right, so
Mm.
something like that. So, but for left-handed, it's the other way
The other
around.
way
So
around, yeah.
yes, mm-mm.
I was about to ask that because I'm a lefty, so I was like, how about a left-handed person?
Yes, and
Okay.
the last is use a fast drying manga ink so that it'll be less worry about how long the ink will dry, because
Mm-hmm.
fast drying ink can dry as fast as less than a minute, but it
Mm-hmm.
still depends on how thick and how much the ink was used with the lines in order for it to dry. So it still depends on how thick and how much ink that you apply. But I highly recommend using fast drying manga ink, like for example Kaime, so Kaime manga ink, and
Mm.
Deleter number 4 and number 2. So I highly recommend those in. So yeah.
It doesn't take too much time to wait for it to ink.
Yes.
So what if the artist doesn't have access to those type of inks? What can you just use a hair dryer
Mhm.
or something else to dry the ink, or just really time?
Also, I think yeah, you can just blow it actually, or you can just a hair dryer or something. And
Mm-mm.
also you need to consider like the medium if you're going to color your illustrations or your line art. For example, if you're going to use like a alcohol based marker, so
Oh yeah.
be sure that your ink is also alcohol proof, so that you will avoid ink smudges. So they need to
Mm.
be comfortable.
Mm.
So uh but it's okay,
Incompatible.
yeah, but it's okay if you're using like a what do you call this color pencil, so it's okay. But for alcohol based markers like watercolor, they need to be like waterproof, alcohol proof, and fast
Mhm.
drying. So you need to consider those compatibility as well.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Mm-mm.
you don't just use any markers willy nilly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, oh, also, this is like the nib or the dip pen, right?
Mm-mm.
Yes, this is it. So, for those who don't know what a dip pen is, it's also called a nib. So, when you hear someone say nib or dip pen, it's the same thing. Don't get confused. Or are they different or what? No, they're the same. Pretty much the same. And I do remember that the G nib is the most commonly used, right?
Yes.
So there are different types of nibs.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. For a mangaka artist, do you switch into a different nib, or you just keep using the G nib?
I just used one actually because the other two, like the Saji and the Maro, they have like a specific purpose, not like the G pen that it has like an all around function. So
Mm.
probably my favorite is the Genie because it can produce all kinds of line, and it's also like, yeah, the general need use in creating anime illustrations and manga.
Mhm.
And I also don't need to switch to another needs when I start when I want to create a like a thin or dynamic lines,
Mhm.
because it can pretty much produce anything as long as you master the pressure sensitivity trick.
Yeah.
So you need to master those. Yeah, you need to master that technique when using the G pen, but also you can also master that with Saji and Maro. But uh, I think G pen is the most flexible with those.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
those nibs.
And it's also more what the why I prefer the G pen is it's also more in line to my
Mhm.
style, which is shonen, and since
Mhm.
shonen use a lot of dynamic lines, and G pen performs really well with that style. So that's why I love the G pen actually.
Nice. Okay,
Mm-mm.
okay. So so basically any of these nibs are fine, but if you're a complete beginner in inking, it's best to go first for the G nib before you go experimenting.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the most basic types of nibs, like we said earlier, is the G pen, the Saji pen, and the Mario pen. You already said that the G nib is the one that you
Yes.
prefer,
Mm-mm.
and that it's a lot easier and more dynamic when
Yes.
using the G nib. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oops. Oh my. Hold on. So each G nib has different level of flexibility. As you
Mm-mm.
guys can see here, this is like what it looks like. What do you
Yeah.
call those strokes again?
Cross hatching.
Right, right,
Yes,
right.
for sphere, but you can also try to use cross contour if you're going to like render it in a like more 3D shape. So you can use cross contour for spheres. So yeah, but for the ones in the first table are
Mm-hmm.
just hatching and cross hatching. Stipling for the last part. So yeah.
As a complete noob, what are these for?
What is it? Mm.
Like these strokes, what are they mostly used for?
You use these strokes to add tone or to add value. Like for example, you are not going to use like a coloring materials when
Mm-hmm.
you want to add tone. You use these line techniques or shading techniques to add tone to your illustrations or your sketches. So yeah.
Right, right. So like here.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Now, in one of your recent YouTube videos, we showed in one of our recent YouTube videos, we showed
Mm-mm.
that you can actually cover up inking mistakes with white ink. What do you do when you make an inking mistake?
For me, I analyze first how big is the damage or the inking mistake, then do some refining based on that observation. So if the ink damage is just small, then I'll just use a white ink. There's
Mm-hmm.
also a manga white ink, guys. You can also use that to cover up the damage or the ink mistakes. But if it's going to be like if it's medium size, so the damage is medium size, then maybe you can just layer it later on the coloring stage with darker colors and adjust where should be like the form shadows or the inner shadows. So you need to also adjust. So you you need to adjust, so you need to adjust your form shadow so that you can still save your line art. So, and if it's too big, then
Mhm.
I can just scan or edit it on my PC, but there are some mistakes or damages that can't be fixed, so maybe just start it over again.
Oh no. Like that's the most dreaded thing. Like you have to start
Yeah,
all over again.
you can also apply that
Yeah,
with your lab. Yeah.
that is pretty difficult. But yeah,
Mm-mm.
sometimes it's unavoidable when you really when things just doesn't go your way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay. I'm just having the difficult. There you go. So, how do you get your line art to look perfect?
Um, I don't want to call it so perfect because there are still some mistakes that I did
Yeah.
during liner. So it's not totally perfect, but maybe it's because I used techniques to ink
Mm-hmm.
my line art. So when when I'm inking or when I plan to ink my sketches, so
Mm-mm.
I think you need to analyze the purpose and the location of the lines. So this is very specific technique. So I need to analyze the purpose of the lines and the
Mm-mm.
location of the lines. So for the purpose, I think that you need to think what type of line variation you will be using. So
Ah.
if it's for merchandise purpose, so if your
Mm-mm.
sketch or your line art is going to be produced for merchandise purposes, then use
Mm-hmm.
equal lines. So this technique is inking the contour, the frame of the character into like a very thick um equal line, because
Mm-hmm.
it will make the character more emphasized and looks more cute to the, like, for example, for the consumer. So have you guys um observed in chibi like keychains or something like that? So most
Yeah.
of the characters there, so their frame or the contour line of the character were inked in thick lines. So that's the purpose for um equal
Mm.
lines. So the second one is like, for example for shonen and general illustrations like the one that I'm using. So I
Mm-hmm.
use dynamic lines or line weight variation. So dynamic lines means like there's a thick, there's a thin, there's an equal. So there's a mixture of different line thickness. And also need to apply line elements like adding thick lines on overlapping lines. So there are so many elements that you can actually put
Have to
together.
consider.
Yes, when
Mm-mm.
using dynamic lines. So, and for if you want your lines to be like more innocent looking,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like in shoujo manga, you need to use thin in order for it to
Mm.
emphasize the soft or innocent or something. It gives innocent and smooth
Vibes.
looking, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. So you need to use thin lines for the all of the parts of the uh lines for the character. And for the other one is the location, so you need to consider the location of the lines. So for the contour, just like equal line, so if you want to emphasize the contour line of the character or the
Mm.
frame of the character, it needs to be thickened. So the line should be thickened. And for the parts line, so parts line are like the contour line of the objects within the character. For example, the uh frame of the hair. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also included like the hair within the character, also like the clothes, like something that is an object within a character. So you need to thicken them, but not as thick as the contour line. So, and the last one for the location is um the details. So most of the details will be inked in a thin line. So yes, because if you're going to thick the details, it will not express the subtle details of uh subtle details of the characters. For example, for the face, if you're going to stick the mouth, the nose, and the eyelashes, it's going to be like a chaotic. So you need to take yes, you need to thin them to express the subtle details of the
Yeah.
characters. So you need to be more expressed, so not to look like super equal. So you need them to organize. So by using these techniques, you will be able to create a very organized and good looking line art. So that's how I do my line arts actually. Mm-mm.
That's how you plan your
Yes.
drawings.
Mm-mm.
Oh, like there's really just a lot of things to consider, right? Like with this one, there's just so many things to consider.
Yes.
That's the one that you use, right? The ink.
Yes.
So there's like look at how many things that you really do need to consider just on the video in itself.
Yes. I
Oh.
need to thicken the contour. I need to thicken
Mhm.
also the just to emphasize things so they be more organized within the full illustration. So the lines should be
Mhm.
more organized and emphasized. So that my viewers won't get confused which line is this, which line is that. So I don't
Yeah.
want my viewers to get confused with my line art or something. Mm-mm.
Like this one's a little too thick. This like it's a chaotic mess basically.
Mm-mm.
So okay, I although I know that of course that you're a shonen artist basically.
Mm-mm.
Um have you tried drawing shoujo manga or shoujo characters from a
Yes, I
shoujo manga?
think I did, but that's when I was just starting.
Oh.
Yeah, but I did a one shot manga, but it's a romance. So it's not just it's not in
Oh, okay.
line
I'm
with
gonna
my
look for that one.
yes. I did a one shot manga. It's a romance, but it was drawn in shonen style, so it's a little bit mixture because yeah, there are things that I need to consider when I was drawing
Mhm.
that there's so many struggles, so that's why I did a romance. So it's not my thing, so it's a little bit cringe.
It's a little cringe.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
No, I bet not. I would love to
Mm-mm.
see it though. Okay. Hold on. I lost my questions. Okay. So like with the Attack on Titan, just look at that.
Mm-mm.
How do you plan all of this? How like for your own like I understand that there's a lot of things to consider, but for your own personal planning with creating such art like this, because looking at this, there's literally more than things that you need to consider. But how do you plan your drawings?
Um. Yes, I do plan them. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
like because it's especially if it's a multi-character full illustration. So
Yeah.
at first I'm quite scared with the maybe like maybe I won't finish it or something. So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I did is like I create some draft sketches and
Oh.
think of what will be their poses. So I just use like a draft like I just use like a simple shapes to form my character.
Mm-hmm.
And think of what will be their poses and see if I did the right placement for every pose of the characters. And also, I really want my characters to be also proportionate within the frame of the illustration and not just only their poses. So I just don't focus like, uh, I don't just focus on the proportion of the character. I also need them to be more organized within the illustration. So that they will be like blend together so they don't look odd or something. And I also analyze on how big they are, or should I draw the character in full body on this part or not? So something like that. So and I usually took inspirations from, for example, there's a season of this anime. So most of, especially for shonen, right? So
Yeah.
their other like their what do you call this? Their illustrations for those show the cover for their what do you call it? For
For
the
the
season.
season.
Yes. So
Mm-mm.
they it usually has like a multi character in a single illustration, right? So I usually
Yeah.
uh take inspiration of that, and I try
From
to
that.
observe
Mm.
their placement. So how do the illustrations from studios uh organize their characters within an illustrations. I really observe that kind of way. How do they organize their characters? So I also apply it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So that it will look like what do you call this? It looks as if it was made by also a studio. So something like that. And also it's also maybe request from my clients. So these images here are one of my commissions. So my client asked me to create like a illustrations from what do you call it? Just like a cover from a season, so something like that. And some of my illustrations
Mm-hmm.
um were also inspired from the latest episode of an anime. So just like what
Ah.
you have observed from my latest and recent posts from my social media, usually I I uploaded um
Kanroji.
yes, Kanro. I just
Yeah.
uploaded Kanroji. Yes, I think yesterday, and last week was Hantengo from Upper Moon
Oh yeah, yeah.
Demon. Yes. Mm-mm. And I need to watch it first. So before I just start to draw everything,
Mm.
so I need to watch it first so that I can visualize them in my head, and I also make myself to be motivated because drawing full illustrations were a little bit exhausting, honestly. And I need to be in a good condition for me to
Mm-mm.
perfectly execute my plans for the sketch or the illustrations. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to like super super inspired. So I don't want to end up like I want to draw this, but I'm not fully committed to draw this. So I'm afraid
It could
to
just,
be, yeah.
yeah.
I just like what they call it. I don't want to what do you call this? I want to be like fully committed with my ideas so that I can
Mm-hmm.
perfectly create those illustrations that I wanted. So yeah.
But like so instead of just wanting to draw something, but then when you start, you get completely like, I don't know where to start.
Yes, and you just switch to instead you want to draw, then
Mm-mm.
after 5 minutes you feel tired, so you just open your video games and forgot the drawing.
Related.
Yeah,
Relatable. Is it
yeah.
relatable?
Yes, because I'm also a gamer actually. So
Oh.
yeah. Mm-mm.
So yeah, I understand that as well. Like, if you don't really feel like it, then don't force it, right?
Yes.
So, but it does pay to be more attentive to what you're doing with the things that you like.
Yes.
As if you're truly inspired, just look at this. look, I'm just in awe of your work.
Yeah, and
And
also
also with
when
with
uh,
Kenroji yesterday that I did when I saw your post, I was like, oh, she's so pretty.
yes, and actually I'm not what you call this completely what you call this, not comfortable, confident doing
Yeah.
that because I don't usually draw female characters, so I'm not very used to
Yeah.
their what do you call it, anatomy or something. So
But she turned out so well though.
yes, especially
Yeah.
when I was on the like the background thing. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very what do you call this, super inspired when it's some artists don't like drawing backgrounds, right? But for me, I'm pretty
Yeah.
much more into it when it comes to drawing backgrounds. So maybe if I have the opportunity to apply like in animation studio, maybe I'll just stick to
Yeah.
drawing the backgrounds because I feel like it's
The
more
scenery.
yes.
Mm-mm. Wow, I can't wait. I really do hope that that dream does come true. Because like everyone has a goal as an artist, but like for most for most mangaka or for most artists who likes anime and manga, like they want to be part of something that would just explode all over the world. And I hope that happens for you as well, Steph, because my goodness, look at that. I can't stop fawning over your art. This is so cool.
Yeah,
So
and and I'm also planning to draw like the um
ooh.
Gyoko and Gyotaro also. I want to complete
Ooh.
them because I think I'm just missing few characters to draw
Mm, mm, mm.
within the like the within the 3 seasons of Demon Slayer. So I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm so inspired. Maybe I just like the anime too much or something.
Like, I haven't completely seen all of your artwork just yet. For sure, I'm gonna just like spam your Instagram later. Um, this is just a random question. Have you tried any 90s anime? Because the 90s were a bit different in art compared to today. So um, for you as an artist, which is easier? Was it like during the 90s or the art today?
Um, I think the 90s will be much more easier, but
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe it's because it's less detailed or something, and their
Oh
style
yeah.
is a little bit um it's not uh it's not bad because that's the style at the time. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit easier to draw them compared to the modern
And now.
ones. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because modern anime has of a lot more
Yeah.
stylization for their characters. So and
Mm-hmm.
also their characters are a little bit what do you call this, the character design is much more dynamic for me. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the advantage of the older ones is that they are more like original, so for me. So yeah,
Yeah, that is so
so
true.
yeah, they're quite original compared to the modern ones.
Sorry.
Yes, that's based on my observation. So that's for
Mm-mm.
me. I'm not sure with other.
No, but like I get it though, because back then with I'm not saying that anime today is uh lesser than before, because it's a preference honestly, but as a cosplayer though, the animes today, oh my goodness, why are they getting so complicated in cosplaying?
Yes,
It's so hard.
especially when I receive like a commission, like
Mm-hmm.
requesting like that I need to draw this character, and I search the character, like
Yeah.
oh my god, the clothes is a little bit so complex for me. So I just tell my clients, let me study it first because it's a little bit complicated, especially if there's a lot of metals on the
Yeah,
characters. So
that is so true.
yeah,
It's so complicated. Like, even with this, with Attack on Titan, there's just a lot of details that you still need to look into. Because some say, oh, you just need a brown jacket, slap on the logo, and then that's it. Boy, no. There's just still so much more that you need to consider in order to be fully cosplaying characters. But oh my goodness. But when it comes to the 90s anime, it's just a little bit simpler though.
yeah,
But the
and
difference is like the signature is there. You can tell like if you see this character, oh, this is from that anime.
yes, and most they are much more popular to the general
Mm-hmm.
age, like from 50s to uh
Yeah.
yes, to the new generation. So they're much more famous actually if you ask people, like especially the non-anime fan, if you want to like ask them who's this character, especially from the 90s, they will tell
They'll
you that
know,
yeah, they
yeah.
recognize the character unlike
Yeah.
now. So there
Especially
I think
Sailor Moon,
mm,
overrated. Goku, overrated.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me. So I think that's all the questions I personally have, but I bet a lot of our viewers. I haven't checked YouTube just. I haven't gone back to this stream to see of any everyone else's comments. But now we can move on to the Q&A portion. So let's check YouTube if they have questions. Okay. So there's Turan, if I'm pronouncing your name right. They said, and that's why I work digitally right now because I'm terrified of that exact scenario. I bet they were talking about the smudging. So the question is, when inking the outline, do you strictly stick to the contour, even in transitioning from arm to jacket to hair? For example, like where do they overlap? And even if it means same line thickness, like between the different quote unquote materials.
Yeah, I think that's for location, right? For the purpose of
Mm.
the location of the line. Um, when you transition from contour to parse line, you need
Mm.
to what do you call this? Shift to much thinner compared to the contour, so that it
Mm.
can have like a element of what do you call this? It will look more organized, and
Ah.
some of the overlapping lines that you will be adding thick lines
Mm.
is will create a like it will emphasize the volume, the depth, especially for the inner parts. For example, to jacket to hair. So for the jacket, for every folds of the clothes, for every folds of the clothes, the overlapping lines will be on the like the tension part. So more the overlapping lines there should be thickened a
Mm.
little, just to use small thick lines, just the inner part, just to emphasize that there is a depth, like is a small hollow within that part. And also for the hair, for the overlapping lines, so most of them like are the inner parts of the hair. It will emphasize that there is a volume, there is a shadow, even though you didn't add shadow actually. So there's like an illusion. It will
Mm.
emphasize, yeah, it will express elements that it's not supposed to be there, but it feels like they are they exist or something. So for example, uh for example, for shoujo,
Mm.
uh, it will look boring if you don't add. You just use all thin lines for the character, but if you want to add a little bit elements, you need to
Mm.
add thick lines on the inner parts of the hair so that it will emphasize that there is a depth, a volume of the hair or shadow of the hair. So there's something like that. And for the arm, so usually for the arms, it depends. Also, when adding line variation, you also need to
Mhm.
consider the perspective of the objects or the lines. For example, if the pose is a little bit in foreshortened pose,
Mhm.
most of the lines that is near to the camera or the angle, you need to take them and you need to add a little bit details because it's more near on the camera. So most of the lines there should
Oh.
be taken, and the lines that are a little bit farther to the camera or the angle, you need to thin them a little bit. So you also need to um, consider simplification. It is also a technique used in line variation. So simplification is just focusing on the lines that is very recognizable in a character. So for example, uh, if the character is a little bit farther away to the angle and the
Yeah.
character is like Deku, you just draw the hair. You don't need to. You
Mhm.
just draw the shape of the hair, the shape of his eyes. So you don't need like to
Mm-mm.
draw the eyelashes or something. So you just focus on the overall recognizable parts of the character. So you just
Mm-mm.
draw them the parts depending also the depends on their what do you call this perspective of the parts. For example, Deco is kicking in a pose, so most of the lines on the shoe or his boots will be much more thicker compared to the face or something. So yeah,
Oh.
you also need to consider like the perspective and the angle of the lines. So
Mm-mm.
that's more on the like the location of the lines. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's a clarification. The
Mm-mm.
scenario of having to start over from inking errors. Oh, I think what Turan was trying to say was like, uh, when you make a mistake on having on the inking, like, do you restart from when outlining, yeah, the contour of the arm? Do you like, how do you undo that mistake? Is that what
Um
we're trying to go for? I hope it is.
yeah. Probably the best way is after you sketch your characters, maybe try to take a pic or scan it just to be sure that you have a
Ah.
copy. Uh, uh, if you are going to make a mistake, then you just reprint or trace it on your uh next paper. So you don't need to like to draw everything. So you still have the same proportion, still have the same size or something. So just to be more efficient. So yeah.
Mm. It pays to have a scanner, doesn't it?
Mm-mm. You could just
Okay.
use actually your phone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I just
Mm-mm.
print it. Yeah. Yeah, because our phones today have like the scanning feature, so I guess that does help. Um Bhavyas ask, are there different inking styles for different genres?
Yes, actually. For I think for shonen is uh dynamic lines. Mostly for
Mhm.
shonen is dynamic lines. Then for shoujo,
Mhm.
um I think thin lines. So
Mhm.
thin lines. And for like chibi types of genre or something like an idol. So I think they use thick lines, but it
Mm-mm.
still depends I think of the art style of the not all, I think not all follow those rules, but most of them, that's what I observe. Like for example, like the famous shonen right now, they use dynamic lines, and for the
Mm-mm.
shoujo, they use like thin lines. And for the thick lines is like at the end. Have you guys watch like there's a certain extra scene at the end of every shonen anime, like there's a like a end part,
Yeah.
so they usually use thick lines there, right, for their character. They are in chibi form, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
also,
yeah.
yeah, so they usually use thick lines for the character, but sometimes it's not totally 100% that they use those roles, because especially for the Attack on Titan, there are a lot
Mm-mm.
of thick lines that is used, especially for season 1 and season 2, right? So I think, yeah, especially the Wit Studio. So and for the Demon Slayer, so there's a lot of thick lines, but it's more on dynamic lines actually. So that's what I usually observe. So it's not actually 100% that all anime, all genre use or follow
Uses.
those rules.
Mm-mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like I think Horimiya is like that. Like they use a thicker line compared to most shoujo manga or shoujo anime. That is a
Yeah.
lot flowy and
Yes.
more feminine. But like Horimiya has that. It's a mixture of both, uh, of like bouncy but also dynamic type of lines. So it really just depends on your own preference.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
for example, Horimiya versus like the Doctor Stone Day. So they have like
Yeah.
so they have different uh the difference is very observable, right?
Mm-mm,
So
yes.
you can actually like, for example, Kimi no Todoke versus from Shoujo Kimi no Todoke versus from what they call My Hero Academia. So the line art technique they use is very different, right? So you
Yeah.
can actually observe that role. They follow that role actually.
Mm-mm. Bits asked, is it alright to use fine liners if I feel comfortable using them? Or I can't use dip pens because they bleed through the paper I have.
Yes. There's a solution with the bleeding problems. I think you need to use thicker paper. Use like a 157 GSM to 250 GSM paper
Mm.
when using the pen. So that's what I usually recommend for the pens. And for more fine liners, I think it's okay because I also use fine liners right now, but they are more for refining part. I don't usually use it to all of the lines during inking. I just use it like, for example, I forgot to ink this part, then I just use, especially if I've already cleaned the um I've already cleaned the pen, so
Mm.
I'm too tired to like use it again. So I just use a multi-liner of liners just to fix a certain part of the line art. So yeah.
Okay. So you got that bits. If you want to try using the dip pens, you might actually need a thicker or a higher GSM paper. Or maybe if you could possibly find a bleed proof paper, that could also help. But yeah, that's one. And next up, Earl asked, how do you draw straight lines when, sorry, what is it? When inking with dip pens, isn't using ruler with a dip pen cause ink smudging? Do you switch to fine liners in those scenarios or do you have other techniques?
Yes, I use uh I think it's not a deep pen. It's not a multi-line. I'm using like a deep pen but has a cartridge. So it's like a
The
yes,
fine
there.
liners?
No, they are like
No?
fountain pens, but more used for manga.
Oh, wait, fountain pens. That's what I was
Yeah,
trying to
they're
go
like
for.
yeah, it's like a
Sorry.
deep pen but has a cartridge. So it's like a fountain pen, but more they are
Ah.
more for manga purposes. So it
Oh,
has the
there's such a
same.
thing.
Yes, it's so yeah. Actually, I think it's available on Artillery. So
Oh, okay.
yes.
I wasn't sure.
And for straight lines, I usually use like um especially for longer lines. But for
Mm-mm.
shorter lines, I just use directly the dip pen. But for
Mhm.
longer lines, like for example, creating border for
Mhm.
the illustration, I use a multi-liner actually because
Ah.
yes, it's correct. The dip pen will create
Smudging.
smudges. Yeah.
Okay. So if you use another tool while you're inking, best to use a pen than a dip pen, right? Hello?
Ah yes.
Yeah, okay. um Jennifer asked, were you scared when you used a dip pen to draw?
I yes actually, especially on my first time,
Mm-mm.
and actually it's I think it's one of my the unforgettable mistake when I tried to use it for the first time. I use a permanent ink actually. I used a permanent ink when I used my first dip pen, and the ink it's permanent, so it damaged my
Mm.
nibs. So uh and it didn't actually go smoothly when I first started. But I think it will what do you call this? If you maybe if you use like a more artist grade type
Mm-mm.
of nibs or manga pens and ink, maybe it will be much more smoother. So it just need consistent practice actually. Not all the because doing mistake is natural actually, especially you if you are doing certain new things, it's not going to be perfect at first. So doing creating mistake is natural. So maybe observe those mistakes and try to learn from it and how to improve them, try to
Mhm.
think about the solution, how to correct them or
Mhm.
something. So that's what I usually do when I try to use a something new, especially related to art. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I see. So the next question, oh, Ricardo asked, how to find great mentors that complements our learning styles and how to improve in a way that we don't know how to improve, because you can see a bunch of videos or whatever but still don't get the practical part. I can answer that question actually, which we'll be talking about that in a bit. So hope you stay, Ricardo, so that you can know the answer to your question, because that one's a good one. Because despite despite the internet, basically, despite the internet, all of the things that you have online, it's still kind of hard to do it all on your own, right? Right, Steph? It's really hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be answering your questions in a bit. I'll just move on a bit forward because I have an answer to that. Bit said, thank you so much. I'm not Miss Trey. Bits, I'm not Miss Trey. My name is Kay. I'm Kayla. I am not our founder, Miss Trish. But that's okay. Um, Bivas Bavyas asked, can I become a manga artist even if I am not from Japan?
I think it's yes. Maybe it's a little bit tougher compared to like a citizen
Mm-hmm.
from Japan, right? So um
Mm-mm.
I've also I also attended like a an art manga boot camp or something.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, so they said so our Japanese mentors said that it's a little bit tougher compared to regular Japanese citizen because from uh for the industry it's a little bit especially even for them it's a little bit tougher because the competition is very
Very high.
yes. So
Mm.
but it's possible because especially for the artist of the artist of the Doctor Stone is a foreigner. So I think yeah,
Was
it's a
he?
foreigner. Yes, it,
Oh,
it's Boichi. Yes, it's Boichi. So yeah,
I did not know
Boichi
that.
Sensei.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Um, He's a foreigner. Uh, so yeah, so
Mm.
it's possible. So because I'm not sure if he's a he or she. So I'm not sure. So I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
he.
yeah, yeah.
So
Let's
I think
just use they.
so I
You're
think
really good.
they said on their because the artist also have like a YouTube I
A
think back
channel?
then yes but he
Mm-mm.
removes all of these tutorial videos. I'm not sure, maybe it's against to the NDA or something. So yeah, he said they said there that they are a foreigner, but the
Mm-mm.
author is a Japanese and the artist is a foreigner. So yeah, I think it's
Oh.
possible.
Also, it was a collab type of manga. I see.
Yes.
That's interesting. So, on I guess Bavias, it's possible, but there will be complications. Other more than, I don't think it's more than, but like it's just really a lot of complications because everyone is trying to reach number one in, if you're in a publishing company. I think that's what like that is what the scenario is. It's a bit similar to what we, if you guys know Bakuman, it's a bit similar on the scenario, on the scenes, right? It's not as exaggerated, obviously, but like the process of being a mangaka is a bit similar to what we see in Bakuman. So I think, if I think so. So that's another anime recommendations for you guys. If you want to be a manga artist, and want to see a bit of a scenario, I'm not a bit of what it's like to be a mangaka, then I think Bakuman's a great example for that one. Because for a lot of manga artists, it's really complicated, you know, to strive to get your mangas to get noticed by a lot of people. That alone is already complicated. So it's like literally just being a writer for books, basically. If your book doesn't sell well, it's gonna be harder for you to grab other people's attention, whether or not you're a foreigner. So yeah, it's just, I'm not scaring you. I'm not scaring anyone here, but you have to also take that in, because after all, it's not everything is just gonna be like lickety split. You're already a mangaka. You're already great at it. It takes time. Okay, guys, it just really takes time. Now, Jennifer asked, "Is it hard for you when you draw anime?"
Um I think it's a little bit hard on some parts, especially when I started to learn or I started to practice drawing the anatomy perspective in the foreshortening. So it's a little bit challenging actually. I think it's the hardest part of drawing the anime
Yeah.
because it needs fundamentals. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little bit when I first encountered it, I'm a little bit intimidated with the books that I'm using. So it's more on realism, but I need to learn those realism techniques because anime is just a stylized version of the um ones from the realism actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't in order for me to achieve my goals, like I want to draw them perfectly, I want to
Mm-hmm.
be more confident when I want to draw the character. So I don't want to skip the um basics, yeah, the fundamentals. Yeah, those
Mm-hmm.
are those art fundamentals are very important. So my advice is don't skip them. So those are very important, even though they are a little bit boring, but just enjoy it because at the end of the day, it's very rewarding when the
Yeah.
times comes that you're able to memorize all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Rex asked, "How long does it take to draw well for you? Like, I guess, how long does it take?
Um, I'm not really sure because I'm already uh uh I'm already drawing like at the age of 6, but it's not anime. It's more on
Mhm.
Western and more on comic. No, like a more uh kid storybook or something. That's what my art style back then when I was still in elementary. I love um I was already drawing what do you call this landscapes at that time because we have
Mm-mm.
art subjects. So
Mm-mm.
I'm so serious with my art journey when I was still at elementary. But I'm not drawing any anime related stuff at that time.
Mm-mm.
So by the time I think it's 2015 or 2016 when I
Mhm.
started to focus on anime. So it's actually not uh that hard. Maybe it just need like a more refining because I'm just only learning the basics at that time. So by the time
Yeah.
that I shift to like a more advanced parts of drawing anime, it's more challenging actually. And even until now, I'm still practicing it because some of the parts I'm still not confident drawing it, especially the shoes. So I'm a
Mm-mm.
little bit struggle with the shoes in foreshortened form. So yeah, I'm still practicing my foreshortened form. So
Yeah.
actually, there's no end for it.
True.
Yes, especially if you're an artist, there's no
Mm-mm.
end for learning art. So
Yeah.
I think it's a lifetime. So
It's a
yeah,
lifetime, yeah.
yeah.
Every day you learn new things.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I can actually say because um anime style drawing has a lot of parts. For
Mm-hmm.
example, um you need to for every parts of the character you need to separate them in each you need to separate them like for example you just focus on the head, start drawing the
Mm-mm.
head, drawing the eyes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you need to master. So it will take you longer. I think
For a
compared
while.
to yes, I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit longer compared to like drawing portraits or something. So I think
Mm-mm.
yeah. So because more I think for anime is more on original concept unlike for drawing portraits. So it's
True.
more yes. So it's a little bit challenging, but don't worry. If you like it, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Rex asks, okay, one last question. Because for Bavyas, they excuse me, they ask, can I work with a Japanese company without going to Japan, or work as a freelance mangaka without being in Japan? I don't think Steph can answer that question.
I have I think I um I don't have experience like working
Yeah.
for Japanese mangakas, but but I have like an experience for like webtoons or something. So there's a lot of authors hiring for um illustrators for
Mm-hmm.
their stories. So
Oh, there's
yes, there's a
such a,
lot of
yeah, for
there's a lot of
collaboration.
yes, and they usually like they pay high. So I think um it's a little bit challenging actually because
Yeah.
especially if it's shonen, even though my style is shonen, but I
Hmm.
think it's still a little bit challenging for me.
So
So
yeah. So Bavyas, it's a maybe because we cannot be sure. It's a bit out of scope for our topic today, but yeah. Um. Okay, for Rax, I think I can also answer your question. Say, they ask one more without natural talent without natural talent, can you also draw well? Yes. Immediately, it's a yes, because when you put your heart and soul into something that you really want, practice. Like I always say, every time when someone asks me, if I can do this, if I can do that, practice makes improvement, guys. You don't have to have a talent for something that you want to do, so long as you continue to improve uh, whatever you want to do. Because for me, I'll take as myself as an example. I have no skill in art whatsoever. I'm more on the performance side, but I've always loved the thought of myself making these beautiful art, much like whether it's in anime or just watercolor or even calligraphy. I I've always wanted to try and make those things, and back then I never could. But finding out that practicing every single day, or at least as much as I can in a week, you can see improvement. So what I'm about to share now, that since I did say that is our last question. Oh, that's our last question from our viewers tonight. I want to move on to this question, Steff. Like, what's your advice to beginners who want to use dip pens for the first time?
Um. Okay. Okay. Let me click the Zoom. Okay. Okay. Wait.
Yeah, no problem.
So, what's my advice to
Yeah.
beginners? So, my advice for them is maybe take time to learn and master the depends.
Yeah.
It's not easy at first, but don't worry because it's not as hard like learning anatomy perspective and foreshortening actually. Set your goals and plan your practice. Think of something good about the pen so that you won't get bored using the pen. And don't worry about mistakes because those are natural when trying something new, and you'll find a lot of guides on the internet and on how to master them. And don't worry, your practice and time will be rewarding at the end. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually not that very complicated compared to
True.
other studies regarding to art. So yeah, you're just mastering the a very specific materials actually. Like
Yes.
for example, like mastering how to use color pencil or how to use like a watercolor. So
Mhm.
think of it something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So, FYI to everyone, Steph is actually one of our mentors in our anime and manga character drawing course. And we want you guys we want to empower, oops, my mouse is doing it again. We want to empower more aspiring anime or manga artists. And we've been working with students through our anime and manga character drawing course membership these past few months. And I just kind of want to share to everyone what they have said. For Pauline said the course had helped me a lot to correct some of the art problems that I had a hard time overcoming before. And the biggest factor for my improvement was the guidance that the mentors provided. They were kind enough to simplify the concepts and teach things in a step-by-step manner. And they also make the lessons less intimidating and find ways to make it fun. There are not many courses out there that teaches anime or manga art. That's why this is a highly recommended course to any aspiring manga or comic artist out there. Next up, Maria said before, I felt like I didn't have these skills to get what was in my head on paper because I didn't know where or how to start. I feel you, Maria. And all the anatomy and learning basics has helped a lot. Then also, drawing every week with my peers has been amazing, and I love all aspects of this class. So, as you guys can see, this is their progress from January of 2022 to February of 2023. Look at that difference. Like I said earlier, practice makes improvement. If you guys practiced every day, or not even every day, like every an hour a day, or 3 to 4 times a week, so long as you take time and give effort to what you really like, to what you really want to do, what you really want to improve, this can also be your achievement. So, with everyone else, I have a question for you. You guys are here because you wanted to learn how to draw anime characters, right? And you want to improve your art and feel more confident, correct? So, question for our viewers: would you rather do it yourself, or would you rather have a proven path to success? Okay, now that you've seen our students' results and you've seen how Steff has improved over the years and how he does it, you've read how happy everyone else are with the community and guidance from our mentors. So the question is, do you want in on that? Do you want in on that too? I hope I can see I want in the chat section. Can you guys give me a I want in the chat section? You guys are? Are you guys looking forward to the possibility of improving your manga or anime skills? Hope you guys are. Because if you guys are, if you guys are ready, and if you want to make your time doing art more meaningful and more productive, then our anime and manga character drawing course is for you. We are on a mission to accelerate your growth, all while having fun learning together, and you will have amazing mentors to guide you. I'll be introducing once again one of our mentors, Steff. Yes, Steff will teach us how to draw with dip pens and draw dynamic poses and coloring with Copic markers, as you've seen a lot of the videos in the early parts of our stream. And you guys will be doing pretty much the same as what he does. You guys will be able to learn on what he does. But here's also a bonus one. Our second mentor is a professional Japanese manga artist, and she has been in the industry for over 30 years, and she is the illustrator of the iconic manga turned anime Wedding Peach. For anyone who has been around since the 90s, you guys know what that is. And she has also released her own how to draw manga book, and she also actually teaches how to draw manga in a vocational school in Nakano, Japan. And also with us, with Art Taylor Philippines, you guys will be able to ask questions, hang out with our mentor, Yazawa Sensei. Soyo. Sugoi da ne. All of a sudden I started talking in Japanese, but yeah. And we also have our third mentor, who is also a professional Japanese manga artist, and her name is Rena Saya. And she's been in the industry for about 20 years already. And she also teaches in a manga school in Tokyo. So not only you guys get Sir Steff, but you also guys get 2 Japanese manga artists to help you on your journey. Now, this is a lifetime access. It's a lifetime. So long as artillery is around, you guys will have access to all of the content or all of the lessons that you will need for you to become a manga artist. My mouse is on. So you will learn the basic drawing foundations, how to draw with dip pens, and how to color with Copic markers or grayscale, both in grayscales and colored. And at the end of it all, you'll know how to create your own original characters, and you'll also learn how to create characters for a client. But we're not just taking in anyone. The better the fit, the better the results. And we want to work with aspiring anime and manga artists who want to be empowered. So, you want in? Here's how the process will work. Now, this is for you if you're a beginner anime and manga artist who feels lost and stuck and finally want to become more confident and proud of your art. Now, this is also for you if you want to stop copying, yes, copying, and finally create your own original characters and artworks so you can express your own original ideas, creativity, and feelings. And this is also for you if you want to explore your artist talent and gain more skills and techniques so you can give your art to people that you love or even take on commissions. Because yeah, not only will you be able to create your own art, you could possibly go on commissions. Isn't that cool? Doing something you love and gaining money. That's my kind of thing. So if this sounds like you, you're invited to apply to become a member of our anime and manga character drawing course. And we're starting on June 26th, which is a week from now. Yes. And we will only take in serious applicants. So the link is at the pinned comment section. So if you guys are interested, go and click that. Again, we're opening our doors to new students on June 26th. So this is it. This is the moment of truth. Because we're doing this, guys, because we want to empower you guys. The reason why we're here is we want you, our viewers, to feel more better about yourself when it comes to art. But the question is, will you guys empower yourself? Will you guys do it for you? Will you take the step, the action to do something about your problem? You know? All of your questions, all of the things that you were worrying about can be answered and can be whisked away. Your problems can be possibly whisked away with the guidance of the right people. But the right people can also be you if you're gonna do something about it. But if you're not gonna do something about it, that's your decision. That's on you. That's fine. I'm not guilt tripping anyone or anything. I'm so sorry. It sounded like that, but really though, if you want to do something about it, can go ahead and do it. So, if you would like, just click the link in the comment and the pinned comment right there. You can apply now. Because all you have to do to transform your art journey today, tonight, right now, is to click the link right there. Because what will you be tomorrow if you start today? So take the leap, guys. It's your turn. It's your turn to decide. So please. So I hope you guys have decided. But if you can't, applying can also help. Because if you're wondering what other things that this course will give you, or how much it's gonna cost, or anything else, honestly, that might need more details in a personal matter, it's better to click the application. Because why? Because let's not disclose anything on the internet, right? We don't want that, right? So let's just if you're curious, either way, clicking that application is not going to cost you anything. Do not worry. It's just going to lead you to a schedule and to a call so that we can properly talk a one-on-one thing to properly discuss what we can offer, what we can do if you want to finally take that, when you finally want to take that step into your manga or anime journey. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any questions for me other than how much it is, how many times we're going to do this, it'll be properly discussed during the call when you finally made the schedule. But any other ways, if you guys have any other questions for me, please do tell me. Tell me, where did I go wrong? Just kidding. But so while I'm waiting for anyone's response on the chat section, I want to say a big thanks to Steff for being here with us. Thank you so much, Steff. I personally also learned a lot, and I hope everyone has too. But thank you so much, Steff, for this interview. Thank you. Yay!
You're welcome.
Do you have any parting words other than your tips to our beginners? But do you have any parting words to our viewers?
Maybe if you are serious with art, or if you want to become what do you call this? If you want to improve with your art, maybe try to commit and be
Yeah.
serious about it. So
And that's true, because if you're gonna be like half-assing it, if you're just gonna like going just about it, not a lot will change, right? It's not gonna be it's not gonna work out. But of course there is a limit. Like if you're having trouble to begin with, then don't force what's not meant to be. But it doesn't mean that you can quit. Like that's a bit contradicting though when you think about it, but at the same time it's really not. Because if you are committed, if you're serious about doing this, then you know you should do something about it. So excuse me, I'm going back to saying hit that application link and come on board. Come on board to our course. But no, seriously, guys. Other than inviting you to be part of our crew, you could say, on this course, it's gonna help. Like, if you think this live already was a big help, what more if you guys had every day a proper guidance from mentors, from people who has done it for years, and actually getting advice from these people and learning a lot of things that you may not actually know or find on the internet. Although it would probably be there, but you would not know because no one's teaching you the right path, the step-by-step for it. So it's gonna help big time. So if you can, or if you really wanna, if you're really focused, or if you're really serious about doing this, then I do suggest to hit that application link. Go right ahead. But I'm not forcing you, but I'm inviting you. It's still up to you. Is whether you want it or whether you're not, but it's still up to you. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to tell me in the chat section. I'm just waiting for anyone's response. And if you have any complications about the link, please tell me as well, because we would love to properly help you guys on it. If you guys have any questions, if you want to save the link, that's fine as well. If you have any complications, tell us. But also, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because we will deliver the videos to you guys also here in our channel for a couple of tips and tricks in your journey to anime and manga drawing. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. Click. What was it? Click the bell button. I haven't done this in a while, guys. I'm so sorry. I haven't been on YouTube in a while. Yes, thank you. Notification bell. Hit the hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ping that notification bell so that you guys will get all of the notifications for our upcoming videos. Because we have another live, I believe, next week. Other than this one, we have another one. So if you, which is, I believe, with one of our students. It's another interview with one of our students named Sabrina. Oh no, is it Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it's not. She's not a witch, but I am. You guys thought wrong. Oh yeah. We have another interview. I'm being told here that I have such a witch laugh right now. Like, no, I don't. Just kidding, I do. But yeah, if you guys are interested, come by again next week for another live interview with one of our students, Sabrina, so that you guys can also have an insight on her journey with our course. So I believe there's no one else gonna ask us a question. I guess not. Oh well. But thank you guys so much for being here with us, and I really appreciate it that you came by to listen to one of our mentors and their tips and tricks for dip pens and inking for their drawing, basically. There you go. So again, Steff, thank you so much for coming by in our live, and thank you guys again for coming to our live stream. So that's pretty much it. Hope to see you guys at our course very soon. And again, if you guys are interested, click that link, the application, save it if you want to. We don't mind. And see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for coming. Bye. Bye, Steff.